Hello, everybody, and thank you so much for tuning in to another teaching of Glory Road. I pray that your day is going good and that you're feeling alive and feeling vibrant about who you are and where you're going in life. You are a success story just waiting to happen. We just have to be able to understand who we are, what we're capable of doing, and go out there and just be the answer and the solution to the world. So today we're going to talk about that, the greatest success story. I know we think of Jesus and we think about all of our famous friends or famous heroes or people that we look up to, celebrities and people like that, and especially like we've experienced just yesterday where Kobe Bryant died in a helicopter accident, which our prayers go out to his family and friends and people like that. We just lift them up in that situation. But we have a tendency to think that we've lost something so great. And he was great in what he did and the power and the what he could do on that ball court. I tell you, very, very powerful, moving, and inspiring. But what about you? A lot of times we're looking at others, but there's something on the inside of you that is supposed to accomplish even something as great or even greater than what Kobe was able to accomplish in his life. So let's talk about that. The greatest success story is you. So let's go to James chapter 1, and let's start reading in verse 22. But be ye doers of the word, and not hearers only, deceiving your own selves. For if any be a hearer of the word, and not a doer, he is like unto a man beholding his natural face in a glass. For he beholdeth himself, and goeth his own way, and straightway forgetteth what manner of man he was. But whoso looketh into the perfect law of liberty, and continueth therein, he being not a forgetful hearer, but a doer of the work, this man shall be blessed in his deed. Thank you so much for coming, Felicia. Appreciate you. We're reading out of the gospel or the book of James, chapter 1, verses 22 through 25. Well, I'm going to get it right here pretty soon. And we're talking about the greatest story ever written is the story that's on the inside of you. A lot of times we wonder whether our life is a success or whether we're ever going to be a success. Sometimes we're just wondering for God, waiting on God to do something, tell us something, to show us something so we can get started. But the truth is, nothing happens until you happen. Everything you need is already on the inside of you for your greatness to manifest to everybody, to every living creature. You are to shine and you are to reveal what God has already put on the inside of you. But if we don't know this, we'll walk around just kind of waiting on something, magical to happen, just waiting for our ship to come in, But the truth is you're the ship, you're all the equipment, you're the crew, and everything you need is on the inside of you to cause you to become everything you've desired to be. Now, one thing we have to understand is that a lot of time people, they label success when it comes to how much abundance they have in their life, the kind of things and materials. Some people say you can't have a life till you have things. Well, you can't get things until you have life. And that's one thing we really got to understand is that it's not about getting an abundance of things. It's about having an abundance of life. So abundance is not something that we acquire. Now, you're talking about how you measure success. How do you know when someone's successful? Well, don't go to their abundance and say, I tell you what, they really arrived. Have a whole lot of money, but who are they really? What kind of influence do they really bring to the world? How do they change the world? People that are successful are world changers. Now, when we talk about the success that's in you, you're talking about changing the whole system, not just adding to the world system. We're talking about you got the power to change the whole system itself and replace it with a greater system. And everybody that's successful in the world that we know about is usually their success is coming from that world system. But the success you have already guaranteed on the inside of you is not in that system, it's in the kingdom of heaven. And God wants us to take the success we have, not measure it by the abundance of things that we have or don't have. Because abundance is not something we acquire. It is something we tune into. Did you catch that? You want to write that down. Abundance is not something that we acquire. It is something that we tune into. It's on the inside of you. You got to be tuned in to who God says you are. John, thank you so much for coming today. Jessica, thank you for coming. So you have to be able to tune in to what you already possess and who you are in Christ. If we can do that, you'll find a success level. Now, Jessica, I know you just gave me some hearts, honey. Thank you so much. I appreciate Jessica's my daughter, in case y'all don't know. And but we tune into this success. So it's not something we acquire. Abundance is not something you acquire. It's something you tune into. Now, that's like if you want to hear a good song on the radio, you got to tune into it, right? Most of us are listening to a radio in life, and you're just like, I want to hear some country music, but you're stuck on Hot 99, and all the pop music. I want to hear country. Well, you're gonna have to tune in. Well, see, if you want abundance, and I'm talking about abundance of joy, life, love, peace, all of that, just tune into it, and that's how you do it. It's Christ in you. Now, another thing that one of the stumbling blocks that we use to gauge what abundance is or what success is we try to look at this idea that where are we going to find the energy, the ideas, the witty inventions, the things that cause us to stand out. See, as long as you're doing what everyone else is doing, you're never going to stand out. See, wisdom is the ability to discern difference. And a lot of times in the world, we go to church and we just kind of got our hands on the shoulder of someone in front of us, and someone behind us has their hands on our shoulders, and we just kind of like marching along in the army of the Lord. And we don't have any difference. And so we go to the same restaurants they go to, we do the same things they do, we go to the same gas stations they go to. Everything is kind of the same. What in your life are you doing that is different from everyone else? There is a difference that you bring to your generation. And you have to find that, because your success is going to be tied in that. Now, until we find the difference, we won't have the motivation or the passion to make a change, because we'll think we're just bringing what someone else is bringing. Well, that's probably the truth. But you have a difference on the inside of us. We just don't know where it's at and how to access it. So it's not that there's a scarcity to create a living or to create a purpose or to create some kind of movement in your life that's different. There's not a scarcity to create that, what you love to do. It's not a scarcity to do what you love to do. There's only a scarcity of resolve to do it. See, and sometimes we'll do something until there's a roadblock, and then we stop. But if you have a resolve, man, that roadblock's going to get out of the way. Sometimes we feel like everything's okay until the mountain shows up. We're looking at the mountain going, oh my gosh, what am I going to do about that? That thing is much bigger than I am. But if you have a resolve on the inside of you, you would know automatically there's no mountain ever going to stop you from accomplishing what God already says is done. If He puts something in you, it's finished. It's done already. It's finished. When He says something to you, the blueprint's in there. It's finished. Just believe it. and the mountains will just have to go by. By the time you get close enough to it, you're thinking, oh my gosh, look how big that mountain is in front of me. Well, keep walking. Keep moving towards it. Oh, I tell you one thing, this is just so big for me, I can't handle it. Well, just keep walking. You're going to find out how strong you really are. You're going to find out that mountain's looking at you going, my gosh, I hope they don't realize they're bigger than me. You see what I'm saying? Lisa, thank you for coming. So we're looking at the mountains and saying, oh my gosh, the mountain's going, looking at you going, oh my gosh, I hope they never find out who they are. Now we're going to stay, the mountain's thinking, I'm going to stand here just until they get up there. And then we'll find out who's going to bounce off of who. But the closer you get to the mountain, the more it realizes you got a resolve behind you. There's not a scarcity for you to get up and accomplish what it is that you know you're supposed to do. Some of us never do what we know we're supposed to do because we're so afraid. Because we don't know for sure whether it's going to work. Look, if God's called you to do something, it has no choice but to work. We just have to choose to not give up. Stop falling short of the glory, which means the finished product. you know, sometimes we don't know how to cook certain things, and we might mess up the first time we do it. Man, I tell you, that's just terrible. But then we can just go the rest of our lives and never try to cook that thing again. No, man, get up there and do it again and again and again, and then finally you're going to get it right. And then it's easy then, because you've learned by the mistakes you made, and okay, I'm not going to add that seasoning anymore, and everybody bites and goes, oh, that's something. But the next time they do it and eat it, it's going to be wow, it's like melt in their mouth kind of thing. So we have to have a resolve behind what we desire to do, but you've got to know what that is. The greatest failure in life, this is the third thing I want to say, the greatest failure in life is a thing called success. That makes no sense. What does he mean by that? Well, a lot of times when we accomplish something in life, what happens is we see a potential that manifests. And we rest upon that thing. Look at that. That's really good. I did good on that thing. And then we just kind of sit back and camp around it. And then all of our lives we'll talk about that good thing we did. And that's a result of not understanding what potential really is. Potential is not what you accomplish that everybody can see. If we can see it, it's no longer potential. Potential is hidden ability. It's the thing you haven't done yet that you can do, but haven't done. That's potential. See, some of you really believe in your heart you got something in you that can change the world, but you haven't done it yet, so it's still potential lying in there. The moment you do it, it's no longer potential, but you have potential in you still. You're never going to run out of potential. It's the hidden ability that you have inside. Most of us have just stopped tapping into our potential, and we're resting on things we've already done and then saying we finished. 20, 30 years ago, we finished. Or maybe you retired, or maybe you got 10 years left in your job and you're thinking, oh, I can't wait till I retire because then I'll be finished. But yet there's so much potential on the inside of you to change the world we haven't even discovered. So the greatest success story is learning not to stop at your accomplishments and keep tapping into your potential, because you are the greatest success story you will ever tap into. You're the one that's going to change the world you live in and the people you hang around. They're going to look at you and see your difference. I don't want you to forget that. Don't be disappointed about where you are or where you have been. You've got enough potential in you to carry forth your dreams in a very short period of time. You can make it happen. Nobody can make it happen for you. You've got to believe in the potential on the inside of you. Where that potential is how you manifest your purpose in life. So I just hope you guys can understand what I'm saying. Stand up and be a winner. Go change your world. Do something different tomorrow that you did today. Don't be satisfied with the same routine, doing the same thing, never tapping into anything that you can do on the inside. Start looking at yourself differently. You're going to change the world. I believe it. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming here. I love you guys. I appreciate you. And until we meet again, I'm Adam King. God bless you. Bye-bye.